I want to thank everybody for being here. Really appreciate GeoJobe taking the time out for this presentation today, and just excited about it, and excited about this new transition. Justin's going to be our new incoming president, so we have a lot of big expectations and big things coming. So we just appreciate everybody being a part of GISAA, and we'll turn it over to GeoJobe.
Awesome. Congratulations again, Justin. That's very exciting. And thank you all so much for letting us present today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So today, we're going to go ahead and take you through AdminTools. Like I said, my name is Randee Miller, and I'm the Deputy Director of GIS Services at GeoJobe. I do have Bryce Jones, who is our Senior Software Developer on our products team, also with us, and Tony, who is also on our sales team. He's on here so that way he can help answer questions in the chat if you guys have any. He'll be monitoring that for us.
Nice to meet you all.
Hello.
So let's get started. So just to give you guys a little bit of a company overview, GeoJobe was founded in 1999 and has been an Esri partner since 2002. We are also in the platinum tier with Esri. We're recognized as innovators in the ArcGIS marketplace with the top 3 most popular applications with over 10,000 provisions globally. We are early adapter of Esri's newer technology paradigms as well. Our products are known as the ABCs in GIS. Not sure how many of you guys have used any of our products, but I know Justin reached out to me personally and asked if I would do a presentation because he is very fond of our AdminTools, which so am I, among the others. But our most popular one is AdminTools, along with BackupMyOrg, which is another one of my favorites. And then we have CleanMyOrg. And then our newest and most robust product that was released last summer, which is Scheduler.
Real quick, somebody asked if we were going to be recording, and I believe we were, but I don't currently see the thing saying recording.
Yeah, that's correct. We don't have it on the Google account. I just do it on OBS, but yes, we're recording this, and we'll post it up to the GISAA YouTube channel, hopefully later this week, or next week, sorry.
Sorry for interrupting, Ben.
Awesome, no problem. I didn't see that in the chat, so thank you for pointing that out, Bryce. So just to give you guys a quick overview, but this is our global footprint of all the areas that use our products. So not only are we US based, but we're also globally. And these are all GIS users all over the world that currently are leveraging one of the ABCs. And then we're just going to go to the next slide. It's just taking a little bit to change for some reason. There we go. So I'm going to go over AdminTools first and take you through each of our products, and then we're going to go on to the demo for AdminTools. But AdminTools is premier administrative suite for ArcGIS Online and portal for ArcGIS that's been available since 2014. It allows administrators to interact with content and apply changes in bulk operations rather than singular interactions. This helps GIS administrators save enormous amounts of time and effort that allows them to further their geospatial program initiatives. BackupMyOrg is a favorite of not only mine, but also GeoJobe user base. For ArcGIS Online, there currently isn't a backup mechanism. So if something is deleted, it will sit in the recycling bin for 14 days and then will be permanently gone. BackupMyOrg is your all-in-one solution for targeted backup, restoration, and migration for your ArcGIS items users groups within ArcGIS Online or portal for ArcGIS. It allows administrators to create on-demand or scheduled backups for their content, ensuring their data is safe and accessible whenever they need it. You can restore your content in the same org or restore it in a different organization. If someone makes a change or deletes any content, you can restore it from your backup. You can also migrate your content from one org to another, so you don't have to recreate it. So I use this tool quite often with some of my clients, like just giving you guys a quick example. If I go in and I start cleaning up their ArcGIS Online, I'll do a backup before I start cleaning it up, because sometimes if they want items deleted or removed, they don't realize what all it's connected to. And that's what Bryce is also going to go over later in our demo. In AdminTools, we actually have this feature that will show you what is connected to what. And I leverage that a lot as well when I go in to clean up clients' orgs. But also migrating them from one org to another. I use backup my org and then I just restore it to the other ArcGIS Online. Clean My Org has been key for many administrators to understand what is going on with their organization. The solution for investigating and correcting issues related to items, users, and groups within ArcGIS Online or portal for ArcGIS. It helps administrators have access to on-demand or scheduled scans of their environments based on a variety of different parameters that support a healthy organization and can start remediation on any issues that arise. This gives users confidence in their overall quality of content within the organization, which enables broader and more confident use of their GIS resources from geospatial program. And then last but not least, Scheduler. Scheduler is our most robust solution that GeoJobe has to offer. We just produced this last summer. It is a comprehensive task automation solution designed to efficiently assist administrators in interacting with their ArcGIS environments. It allows users to create, manage, and deploy a plethora of administrative tasks that can help ensure overall environmental security, performance, and optimization. This is a great tool for administrators who have an effective method to ensure their environments are being managed, giving a variety of different organization parameters and best standard practices, thus providing a better quality of content interaction by the end user and increased trust in GIS program. Now I'm going to take you through AdminTools. I'm going to do a little demo for you guys today. And as you can see, can everybody see my screen right now for AdminTools?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is our AdminTools interface. You have your home page, and then you have these tabs at the top. You can favorite certain tools. So I already have some tools that I use pretty frequently, either with clients or just in general, like I'll use it on my ArcGIS Online. You have your items tab. This is where most of our features are. So these are the different tools inside AdminTools that our products team has developed. So you have like move items, rewire layer info in the web app builder and dashboard. There's some very useful tools in here though. One that we're going to go over here is copy web maps and symbology. That is one of my most used tools. Again, we can probably go over this for hours, like in the tools that are inside of here. It's unreal how much our products team has actually worked on this. But we're going to go over a couple of mine, and then I'm going to switch it over to Bryce, and Bryce is going to go over one of his and also show you guys an amazing feature on our AdminTools. We also have a groups tab that you can go through here. I use this one, for example, like copy groups. So let's say I'm working with a client and they are just wanting to copy a group and they don't have to want to go through and create a brand new group and add all the parameters that they had in there. They just want to copy one group and add a user. You can literally just copy a group, and then you can add the user in the end if you want, or it keeps the same parameters as the group that you already had. But this is also a list of different features that are also inside this tab. And then we've got our user tab. In here helps administrators manage their users. So for example, this one, like delete users. Let's say one of my clients, also why this one is favorited. I use this sometimes with some of my clients. They'll have like 2 or 3 people that either quit or moved on to greater things. And so they'll need the users not only removed, but they'll need their content moved. And I'm going to go through this one and demo this one for you guys here in just a second. But you can not only delete the users, but then you can also reassign where you want their content to go, and you can do it in bulk. You don't have to do it one at a time or go through all the manual steps. So I'm going to go back to my favorites tab, and we're going to go ahead and do the copy web map symbology pop-up. I already have a map over here opened. I went ahead and I duplicated. So this is one layer, and then I just duplicated it and gave it basic symbology and also basic pop-ups. And so you'll see in here that for these, they have like urgent, high damage, and it has little light bulbs. And if I click on them, it's got a pop-up configuration. It just has these fields that are showing. For my other layer that's up here, it's just these little gray dots. I just dropped some random dots on here that are also in this feature service. Same schema. But in the pop-up, it's showing more fields than I want. And it's not organized like the one below. And then also the symbology isn't the same. So since I created this layer and I pulled it into my map, is all I have to do is pull in the old layer and click save and have my existing layer in here. And then if I go back to AdminTools, is all I'm going to do is select the copy web maps and symbology. And I can sort by the date. So right here is the name of my web map that I currently have open. I'm going to select the web map, go next. And then, for example, let's see, modified date. I'm going to select the same web map, click next. So right here, sometimes when I go through this with clients, I'll rename the old. I'll put like a 1 or a 2. So that way I know the difference between the old and the new, or you can just put old and new. I know the order that this is in currently, but if I have to do this for a lot of layers, I'll go into the old one, because sometimes with feature services, there's a lot of layers in there. And it can get a little bit confusing pretty quick if you have a long list. So all I'm going to do is for this one, I want to select a second. And I want to select the second and then keep existing. Probably should have done 1 and 2 for this demonstration. Let's go ahead and do that just to double ensure that I'm going to do this correctly. So now what I'm just going to do is click save. And that way you guys can see this process too. Because now I'm going to come over here and go to my AdminTools real quick and recache. So sometimes when you make changes on your ArcGIS Online, you'll need to come over here and recache it so you can see the changes that you just made. So now I'm going to go back to the pop-up. And I'm going to organize it by modified date. Select the web map again. Select the demo web map. Okay, so now you can see that I've got the ones in here. So this is the one that I want to change. So I'm going to come in here and select the old. And so this is copying the pop-up and copying the symbology. I don't want to touch these. I want these to stay the same. And I'm just going to click next and then run tool. And then it gives me the little green check mark. So now if I come over here and I refresh my map, now you can see that my gray points have not only captured the symbology, but also if I click on them in here, it also has the same pop-up. And so then if I wanted to, I can just remove this old layer. Now I've got my new layer in here and I can click save in my map and nobody will ever know that it even changed unless it's tied to something and it needed the item ID. But nobody will even know if they use this field map and they're out there collecting something. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our tools and I'm going to go to my favorites tab. And another one that I really like that I use pretty frequently, and thanks to Bryce, who is on our products team, created this new tool or a newer tool that he put in here for me. It's called Update Field Domains for Feature Layers. So I had a client that had 30 plus fields in there and each of them had the same domain set up for each field. And if they ever made a change in their domain on ArcGIS Online, I would have to add the line item, put it in alphabetical order. Like you guys have done this before. So you guys know you got to drag it, put it in alphabetical order, click save, and then I would have to move on to the next field. That was very time consuming when there was 30 plus fields that all needed the same update. So I reached out to Bryce and he was able to create this, which also, if you guys don't know this, people who do use AdminTools or in the future, if you do decide to purchase this product, there's a request tool or report a bug down here. You can request a feature. So let's say inside this toolbox, we don't have what you're looking for, or maybe you're doing something manually in ArcGIS Online and you're like, man, I know there has to be a better way. You can submit a request and our products can take a look at it and see if it's even possible, and they can create the tool and add it to AdminTools. So this is really handy. I have internal access to our products, so it's very nice, but if you guys did want to request something, you can too and send it. You can also attach pictures and stuff too. That's very helpful if you send visuals. But so, for example, we're going to go back over here to our lovely map, and this is our layer. And let's say we got a new field crew guy, and I need to add a new field crew name to our field, but it also has to be applied to these other fields. I can come in here, and we're going to add, let's see, let's just do Justin. Okay, we're going to add Justin to our domain. And then we're going to move him. So for example, this list also went on and on. So trying to drag these in alphabetical order for one of our clients was also very time consuming. So it's very nice that we do have this now. So I just added Justin to this domain. If I go over here to my other field crew, you can see that Justin is not in any of these. So now I'm going to go back over to AdminTools. I like doing the recache again. Sometimes it picks it up, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on what it is. But I just do the recache, go to my favorites, click on update domain, and then I go to that layer that I just modified, which is, yep, it's this one right here. And then I'm going to replace domains with the selected field by copying the domains over. And so I'm going to go back over here, go to overview, damage location, and I'm going to copy this paste it over here. So this is just the REST URL that I'm getting, and then get fields. And this is the field that I just added Justin to, who's our new field worker in our app. And so I'm going to click next. So now it's asking me, what fields do I want to update? I want to update field crew 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't want to do field crew, the very top one, because that's the one that I made the changes to that I'm trying to copy to all the others. And so it looks like everything's good to go. I'm going to run the tool. It says it was successful. And so it's all I'm going to do is go back here, go to my data, go to fields, check number 2, and look at there. There's Justin. And it has been added to all of my fields. Another one that I have found very useful too, that's in my favorites, is, for example, I deploy solutions as solutions on my ArcGIS Online to test for clients sometimes, just to go through it and see if it's something that they can use. And so I went through and I deployed on my content the other day, the overhead inspection one of their solutions. So I have all of this content now that's on my ArcGIS Online that I really don't want to have to go through and remove delete protection and then delete it all. In AdminTools, I can select update items delete protection. I can select them all, or I can select the ones that I want. You can see that I have 41. I'm going to do all of them except for these 3. Continue, unprotect, and then it's going to take the delete protection off of all of these layers and maps and applications that have delete protection on them in my ArcGIS Online. Says everything completed successfully. And so now if I go over to my content, it shouldn't have the delete protection on, but I want to delete all those items. So I'm going to come over here to delete items, do the same thing, select them all, and delete all of these, except let's not do the demo one. How about we not? So demo project area, we're not going to delete. There we go. And everything else I want to delete. So I'm going to click next. That's fine. Force delete is what I select. So you can do delete items and select force delete even if there's delete protection on. You can also don't force delete. And that is if delete protection is on, then it's not going to delete it. I do force delete sometimes. Sometimes I'll do don't force delete, because if I selected something by accident in that list previously that I didn't want to delete, especially if I'm on a client's ArcGIS Online, I'll put don't force delete just in case I selected one by mistake. But for this, we're just going to continue for that one. And this can move content to recycling bin or permanently delete content. I want this completely gone. I don't want it going in my recycling bin. So I'm going to select that one and click next. And then as you can see, I have these 34 items. I'm going to run tool. And this may take it just a second because I did select 30 something of them.
Also, it doesn't help that you're in a meeting and sharing your screen takes a lot of network traffic.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So it says it completed successfully. So now I'm going to go back to my tools. So if I come over here to my content and click refresh, all of it's gone. I don't have all those solutions that I deployed on here, all those layers and notebooks and all that stuff. Another one that I was going to show you guys real quick, and then I'm going to switch it over to Bryce, is this delete users. This is the one that I brought up earlier, that if you need to go through and mass delete certain people out of your org, I'm going to select Bryce for this one. I'm not really going to delete you, Bryce. I'm just going to select you as the example, and we're not going to continue with this. But you can click next, and right here you can see that it needs a configuration. So it's wanting to know, if I delete Bryce, where do I want all of his content to go? So I come in here and I click configure, and I can select permanent delete items and groups, update ownership of items or groups. I want to update it. I don't want to completely delete it. So I'm going to come in here and select, let's just do myself. I'm going to select myself for this. And so if I click run tool, it's not only going to delete Bryce as a user, which we love Bryce. Bryce is not leaving, and transfer his content to myself. So this is very useful if you have, again, 2 or 3 people and you're trying to remove them and you just want to transfer their content to one person, or even multiple. You can select it in here and delete them out and click run tool. Done. But I think we're running close on time. Okay. Those are my favorites, some of my favorites that we just ran through that I use very frequently, that are very helpful and save a lot of my time. I'm going to let Bryce, who's on our products team, he's going to take you through one of his favorites. And then he's also going to demonstrate one of our really cool workflows that's in 3D. I use it so that way clients know what things are tied to, but he's going to go through that for you guys.
Thank you very much, Randee. And I got to say, my nerves were not helped when you hovered over that run tool button. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. And just to confirm, y'all can see this.
Yep.
All right. Well, it is nice to meet y'all. As Randee said earlier, I am a senior software developer over here at GeoJobe on the products team. So I worked on AdminTools, back at my org, clean my org, and scheduler. And so, you know, a lot of the time I work with, I don't directly work with the maps. I generally work with the data on the back end. And so one of the things that I find very useful for that is if I want to find just a string of characters, like a word or an item ID or something, in either any of my content or any content in the entire organization, this export items by data JSON text tool is extremely useful for that. So as an example, I have a layer that is in a couple of different maps that I own. And so I'm going to find that layer real quick. So I've selected all of my items. And I am going to, actually, I already pasted in before refreshing the page. So I have pasted the item ID of that layer into there, and I am going to check all of my items and see, you know, which items contain that item ID. It found 2 of them. And so that layer is in 2 different web maps. So if I wanted to, I could real quick hit next, and then I can export any information that I want about these web maps. So if you want to, for instance, one of the common things that you would do with this tool is if you want to back up any items in backup my org that are used by or that contain a given layer. One of the things that we have is like an import CSV filter. So you would be able to, you know, export the, you know, say title, type, and owner of these items. You can hit next, and it'll, you know, export those 2 items. And then I'll have a CSV that has those fields of those two items. I can also do that looking, instead of just my items, I could do that for the entire organization. But for a demonstration, that would take a little bit longer. So we have a few thousand items in our organization. And it does look at the data of every item in your organization to check for those strings of characters. So in that example, I was looking for essentially what items depended on that layer in order to work. And so one of our other tools is, a dependency viewer. In this case, it's the 3D one, the 3D knowledge graph. So I have currently selected the layer that has that ID. And I'm going to hit next real quick. And as y'all can see here, we have that layer and then those two maps that y'all saw previously. So if I, wanted to click on this, I could go to that item directly, and you can see that, that layer is in there. And also those were the only two layers, or the only two maps that contained that layer. And then one other tool that I have that I find to be quite useful pretty frequently is this view edit item data tool. So this is a way to view individual items, sort of their JSON data. So if I wanted to go in here, and let's say that actually, no, I don't want this to be pointing at this URL. I want it to be pointed at one, the layer ID of one that goes with the service. I could, if I wanted to, select that and then save that edit. I don't actually want to do that, so I will not. And then, those are two of the tools that I personally use the most often when I'm, working with data and trying to develop our other products. A lot of the times I need to look at sort of what those items look like on the back end. And they can get pretty complex sometimes. So, this is a very simple hub site, but as you can see, there's quite a bit to it. And when you're working on making backup.org, for instance, it's nice to be able to see this data very quickly and easily. And then, as Randee said earlier, one of our newest tools in the workflow section of AdminTools is the 3D knowledge graph. So if you were to go to workflows, there's these two dependency tools. There's a 2D and a 3D version. I think the 3D is a much cooler version of that. So if I were to, let's say, want to see all of my items and all of the dependencies of my items, I could just select this real quick. And then before this meeting, I cached all of the dependencies in our organization. So it didn't have to go in and check when I ran this. It would take a few minutes to do that caching if I hadn't done that previously. So as we can see here, all of my items and the dependencies of my items are in here. I have about 56 apps there, 37 maps, 99 layers, 18 data items, and 25 other items. And as you can see, let me turn that graph rotation off. You can see the relationships between those items. So like you have this web map here that because I'm a developer, I have lots of test items. So this web map is using all of these layers, is consuming all of those and using them to display information. And then a couple of these layers are then pointed at forms. So these are survey 123s right here. That the survey 123 is populating these forms, and these forms, or sorry, these survey 123 is populating these feature services, and then these feature services are being used in this map. And so that is my content, and this is pretty complex looking already. But it gets even more complex when you go through the entire organization of a little bit over 3,000 items. So this is going to take a little bit longer because I am sharing my screen. But that is our entire organization viewed through dependencies. So yeah, we can look at it orbiting. And so we have a decent amount of information just from this view. So immediately, a few things catch my eye. So I see like this little chunk right here that has a web map with a bunch of layers in it. So that's immediately interesting to me. It looks like it is a web map made by a couple of our GIS services developers. And then there's a few other things, which are, there's a few of these pretty large items here. So it's, the size of the little node in here is related to the size of the item. So, a parcel boundaries item is going to be pretty big. Show layers. So yes, it does show layers you've added from an external REST service. So this is actually one of those layers. So this isn't coming from our organization. This is a layer that is in a map. Let's see, which map is that? It is in that. Okay, it looks like this is a map that was created by our. Need to wait for it to stop moving. So this was a map made by our Chief Innovation Officer, Mike Robertson. So he pulled in this data into the map from Regrid, which is an external organization, and it is quite large. And then one other thing that's pretty noticeable is there's these areas right here where a lot of things are pointing at that. And so you could say, okay, well, obviously, either this is something that's using a lot of different dependencies, or it's something that a lot of things depend upon. And because it's pointed to a lot of these orange things, I can see these are web maps based on the legend there. And I'm actually going to toggle this bloom effect off because it's a little bit hard to see that. And so what we can see here is that, this is the world elevation world hillshade base map layer. And because we have a lot of web maps that have base maps in them, that item is connected to a very large fraction of our organization. And so if I wanted to highlight the full item tree of that, it would show just all of the items that item is pointed at, and I can also hide anything that wasn't selected. And then let me toggle this bloom back on just to make it a little bit pop a little bit more. And so that is all of the items that those items are connected to. And you can show those. This also shows all of the types in real time. So we have apps. It shows each of the visible web mapping applications, operation views, mobile applications, etc. If I were to scroll in here, because less things are visible now, this number will change. So it's saying, currently visible on my screen are 114 web mapping applications. And you can see the same thing for all these other types. So one use for that is, let's say I have this web map here that I want to select. So I want to see it and all of its dependencies. So what I've done here is I have selected that. I have highlighted the full tree to show all of its dependencies, and I've hidden any unselected items. So now I can see that this item, this map right here, is related, this layer list test map, is related to 19 other items, 2 map services, 16 feature services, and 1 vector tile service. And so, yeah, that is sort of anything that is visible will show up here as an item type. Go down there, you can scroll up and down and see all of that. There's a few other things you can do here. So one of the uses of this tool is that, as you might be able to see here, there's a lot of these little dots here, a lot of these items that are just unconnected from any of our other content. And so, you know, one of the words that we use for this is space junk, because it kind of looks like a cloud of space junk orbiting around Earth or something like that. And so we have this export disconnected content to CSV option here, where what that does is anything that is not connected to any other content will show up in the CSV. Here, let me open that up. And so we have just all of this content. We have a lot of test content as a lot of developers. It's not related to any layers or web maps if it's a feature service. It's not really being used by anything. And so if y'all had something like that, it would probably be something you'd want to delete. In our case, it's just useful data for the tools. So that's why we haven't gotten rid of it yet. And then, a few of these other things are just for if you want a cool visualization, you can, increase the number of little particles that are in between, in the links between items to visualize the relationship between those items. You can change like the speed that they're moving, and the width of the particles, and all of that will change the visualization. In this, if you wanted to, you can save that as a PNG, and you can also change between undirected, top down. Actually, I have some problems with some of the items in this one. There's some circular dependencies, so that is something that I actually probably should fix, and that causes any directionally acyclic graphs, which basically is top-down graphs, won't work properly if there are cycles in the items. So an item that depends upon another item that then depends upon the first item. But yeah, that is definitely our most visually impressive tool in AdminTools. I think it was a big hit at the UC. Along with, we had a VR version of this that people really seemed to like. Yeah, I think that that was everything that I had to go over. Randee, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Awesome. No, Bryce, you did an amazing job, and thank you so much for taking us through this. I know this took you a while to develop too, so we all appreciate it in the GIS community, but this definitely is a really cool feature to AdminTools.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very helpful.
All right, in that case, I will stop sharing and leave it to you.
Awesome. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Okay, thank you guys so much again for having us and letting us present about AdminTools. Like I've said previously, I use our tools all the time, back up my org, clean my org, AdminTools, even Scheduler for our clients to help fit what their needs are, or depending on what their workflow is, we can plug them in. But we did talk to our company, and they did say that they will give an exclusive discount to our AdminTools Pro or AdminTools Enterprise for GISAA members by just mentioning this presentation. So if anybody is interested in AdminTools, please let us know. Our sales guy, Tony, who's on our sales team, he is on here who can answer any questions you guys have. But also we put a survey, a Google form survey inside the chat. If you're interested or not interested, that's fine. If you guys can go through and just fill out that little form that we have in there, it's got a couple of questions. If you do want our sales team to reach out to you for whether it's AdminTools or any of our other products, please put your email at the bottom so they can reach out to you. And that way you can get connected with Tony. He is a rock star, so you're in great hands. That's why I picked him also to be on this call, because he's awesome. So you can also email our sales team, though, at sales@geo-jobe.com. So if you also want to just jot that down and reach out to him later and circle back, they can answer any questions that you guys have about our products. But yeah, that's what we have today. If you guys have any questions, please let us know.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Randee and Bryce, for showing and sharing with us. I personally use like the bulk updates for some metadata, the summary and item descriptions and all that. That's probably my go-to, as well as, you know, kind of exporting who my users are and what all their content is. It really does save a good bit of time. I also dropped a couple of links in the chat there. One's to another survey for GISAA. We just like to know where folks are calling in from and kind of how many we had attend the lunch and learn. So if you could take a second and fill that one out too. It doesn't get hyper specific with your location or anything like that. So it just kind of ties it to the state. That would be awesome. And I also posted a link to our YouTube channel. We'll try to get this recording on there as soon as we can, within the next, you know, couple days or so. So encourage you to go check that out as well. And just one other thing I wanted to mention real quick. We have our next Lunch and Learn scheduled for February 19th. Shelby Hutchison from ADECA is going to join us to talk about the Alabama 3D hydrography program, the 3D HP for the state. So an email blast will go out about that on, I think, Monday. So looking forward to having a few you guys come to that call as well. That's all I have. Josh, anybody from the board want to say anything before we shut down for the day?
No, just really appreciate, again, GeoJobe taking the time out today. Very impressive presentation and product. And thank you, everybody, for attending.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you all for
Bye,
having
y'all.
me. Bye.
Have a great day and great weekend.